That's all. Hi Shanny Fannies, welcome to Educating Shanny. I'm Shanny and I'm a recovered self-harmer. Hi Shanny, hi! Okay, so today's video is going to be all about self-harm. This is a video that I've been wanting to make for a little while, but I haven't actually sat down and done it. I can't talk today. What are words? I don't know. Anyway, self-harm is something that I've made a lot of videos about. I've shared my self-harm story. I've given tips on how to stop. I've given help on how to help other people if you love someone who's a self-harmer, all that stuff. And the reason I wanted to make this video was because I was watching a talk show on TV and they were talking about self-harm, and they said that they didn't understand why people did it. And that made me wonder how many people out there don't understand it. So I thought we could just have kind of an open conversation about self-harm in general. I have some notes, but I'm kind of just gonna wing it and just give you my thoughts and my feelings and my experience with self-harm. And hopefully this will help somebody out there. Okay, so first of all, what is self-harm? So because I'm not a professional, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist, I'm not anything like that, even though I kind of consider myself a little bit of a professional, because I've experienced it, and that's a little bit different, and that's actually a little bit more helpful of a point of view, I feel, that could help you a little bit more. So since I have 19 years of self-harm experience, I'm not exactly technically a professional, but I do know a lot about it. But because I'm not technically a professional, let's first read the definition of self-harm from a psychology website that I found, and then I will tell you what it actually feels like to go through it. Self-harm or self-mutilation is the act of deliberately inflicting pain and damage to your own body and can include cutting, burning, scratching, and other forms of injury. The other forms of self-harm include consuming toxic amounts of alcohol or drugs, or participating in unsafe sex. While self-injury can look like attempted suicide, and some who self-harm go on to actually attempt suicide, many people who intentionally hurt themselves are simply taking extreme measures to distract themselves from their problems and release themselves from unbearable mental anguish. Couldn't have said it better myself. Self-harm is where you harm yourself. Pretty self-explanatory. There are all different types of self-harm. The most common ones are cutting yourself with razors, knives, pins, glass, whatever you want. Another popular one is burning yourself with cigarette butts, burning yourself with other things. Another one is punching yourself, hitting yourself, kicking your shins into things. Just anything that will bruise you up. People pick at their skin a lot. Just pick all over, people pull out their hair. There's all different kinds of self-harm, but the most common ones are cutting and burning and hitting. And those are all ones that I struggled with, not the burning, but the cutting and the hitting is something I struggled with. Just a little backstory real quick. I started self-harming when I was 14 years old, and I started with cutting myself, and then as I got older, I got kind of even more severely anemic as the years went on, and now I'm like extremely severely anemic, and so my face doesn't bruise because I have not enough blood running through my face, literally. So I would punch myself in the face and I would never bruise. Nobody would see it. So that's kind of my backstory. I'm going to come back to that in a minute, but I just wanted to share with you that I've had a lot of experience. I'm 34 years old, and I only stopped self-harming about almost a year ago, I believe. It's weird to me to think that people out there don't understand it, but a lot of them don't. So let's help them understand it. So why? Why would people self-harm? Why on earth would anybody cut themselves and hit themselves and injure themselves in any way? Why would anybody do that? It's because we're sad. It's because we're going through something that is so hard mentally that we would rather inflict pain, physical pain on ourselves in order to take away from the mental pain. So if I'm having a really bad day mentally, okay? So back when I was a self-harmer and I was having a really bad day mentally, the pain in my head was horrible. I had my eating disorder yelling at me. I had other things, other voices yelling at me. I had suicidal thoughts. I had pain from memories. I had PTSD. I had traumatic things that would come up during the day, and I had a lot of health problems, and I had a lot of mental health problems. And so sometimes I just would cut myself to distract myself from all the pain that was in here. I wanted to have some sort of other physical pain that would distract me long enough that I didn't have to think about my effed up, scary, horrible, most revolting thoughts that were in my head. And that's why a lot of people do it. Now, there's another big reason that people self-harm, and that is for attention. And I'm gonna tell you that when I started self-harm, I did do it for attention. My parents had just gotten divorced. I had moved to a new city. I didn't have any friends. I really liked a boy, blah, blah, blah. And I started self-harming because I wanted attention, because there was so much turmoil in my family and in my life that I just wanted somebody to give me attention, because everybody else was hurting too and going through their own hard times. And so I didn't have a lot of attention during that time. And so that's what I did. I hurt myself in order to get attention. So I would start out by cutting my arms. I would cut my arms. I would bruise myself on my arms, because I bruise really easily on my arms. I would do things that were noticeable to other people because I wanted the attention. I needed it. However, that doesn't take away from the fact that that self-harm time period in my life didn't matter. If anything, it might have meant that I was in even more pain. So I mean, there's self-harmers who hide it, and there's self-harmers who show it. And both self-harmers are in pain, and both self-harmers deserve help and love and patience and support. So it definitely worked for me at first. I did get attention. I would cut my arms, and I would go to school, and I would be that, 14-year-old kind of immature girl where if a friend came and asked me, hey, what are those cuts on your arms? I would like try and be all manipulative and sneaky and be like, oh, my cat totally did it. And then like look sad and make people feel bad for me. Like I totally was that teenager. But then as I got older, it started to become a little bit more about just I needed a release of pain from the pain in my head rather than getting attention. So as I got older, especially after I got married and into my 20s and now into my 30s, I would hide it. So I would start punching myself in the face because, again, I'm severely anemic, and so I don't bruise in the face. And so I would punch myself in the face, and it would hurt, and it would really, really hurt, and it would distract me from the pain that I was going through, but nobody would know because my face didn't bruise. Or I would cut my upper thighs because I never let people see my upper thighs. I never, even when I wear a bathing suit, I always wear shorts or a skirt over it because I'm self-conscious for other reasons, so blah, blah, blah. So the only people that would see my scars are anyone seeing me naked, which is only my husband. But even that, there would be times where I would do it for attention from my husband, and there would be times, more often than not though, I would try and hide it from him. So self-harm is such a complex thing, and a lot of people look at it and think, why would you want to hurt yourself like that? But if you could know what those people are going through, like the turmoil inside that makes them do something so drastic to make them bleed, to make them bruise, to make them burn, to make them peel, to make them do whatever, peel as in like pick and like peel your skin out and stuff. Whatever it is, they're in pain. That's what it is. They are in emotional, mental pain, and they want a release from that. And that's so important to know. So how can you help? If you're a loved one of somebody who is a self-harmer, how can you help? The best thing that you can do, in my opinion, is encourage. Just like with eating disorders, just like with any other problem where you're hurting yourself, the best thing that you can do for somebody always is to encourage them. And so you can say to them, you can say, hey, I've been really worried about you, but don't punish them. Don't do it in a mean, punishing, angry way. Not mean, but angry. Don't be angry. Be loving, but sincere, and show sincere concern, and say, hey, I'm worried about you, and I love you, and I don't want to see you hurting yourself. But I also want you to know that I know it's hard to stop. Like, validate them and say, I know it's really hard to stop what you're doing, but I know I believe that you can do it. I know you can do it. I believe in you that you can do it. You can stop. So basically, validate, concern, love, do not get angry, have it come from a place of love, concern, validate, and then encourage and tell them that you believe in them. So what if you're a self-harmer? Are you a self-harmer? Probably, if you're watching this video. There are all kinds of videos that I've made on things that can help you with self-harm. I'll link some of them below for you and you can go check it out. But a few of my favorite ones that I personally used to stop cutting, because cutting was my main one, and punching my face, but I did more cutting than I did punching, I think. And so I came up with some little things that would help me, and I've said these in videos, but I'll just tell you a couple of them right here. So the first one that I would do is I would take a marker, a blood colored marker, and just literally draw on my skin, and you know, literally just kind of go like that. And for some reason, like the visual of seeing this red line that looks like a cut that's kind of freshly bleeding on my arm, it kind of like settles that craving for me a little bit. And I know that sounds crazy, and if you're not a self-harmer, this is gonna look ridiculous to you and this is gonna sound crazy to you, but I am telling you, I don't know what it is, it's just memory, vision, memory, connection, where it reminds me of when I used to cut myself, and it gives me that almost as good of a euphoria and a release. But at the same time, because it doesn't leak out real blood and it doesn't actually hurt or anything, it also makes me stop and be like, wait, what am I doing? How did I get to this point where I have to draw on myself with a red marker? Like, when did that become a normal thing for me? When did it become normal to see this on my body? And it really just kind of helped me to like really open my eyes to it and see like, whoa, why was I doing that to myself? Why? Like, I mean, I know why, but it kind of just boosts you up a little bit. It boosts up your confidence, like, you know what, I'm okay. Like, yeah, maybe I'll draw on myself for a while. Maybe I'll make some fake cuts on myself for a while, whatever. It was like, it made me appreciate, I don't know, it's so hard to explain. But if you're a cutter, you'll understand me. This whole video, you're not gonna understand unless you're a self-harmer, to be honest. But that's okay. If you're not and you're watching this, chances are you're trying to help somebody. I've made other videos about different tips on how to stop and how to help yourself when you have the urge to self-harm. I'll link them all below, but a couple more that off the top of my head are keeping your hands busy is the most important thing. It's really hard to self-harm yourself without your hands. I mean, you can, but you can't do a lot of things. And if you're not using your hands, so use your hands for something else. You could take up a hobby or get out and do something for other people. Get out of your own headspace, get out of your house, go help somebody, go serve somebody, go bring somebody cookies, just all kinds of things that you can do instead of self-harming. If you have any questions about self-harm, if you're one of those people who's not a self-harmer out there and you're watching this to try and get guidance for your kids or your sibling or your parents or someone in your life that's struggling, a friend, whatever, let me know in the comments below if you have any questions that I can answer for you, and I'll try and do that. Again, I'm not a doctor, but I do have 19 years experience, and I've talked to thousands of people around the world and heard all of their stories, so I know a lot about it. I've heard a lot about it. So if you have any questions, maybe I'll do a self-harm Q&A coming up, so leave those below. And then I just kind of want to end this just talking to those of you out there who do self-harm. I've heard so many stories. You guys have been messaging me your stories. You'll tell me your stories in the comments of self-harm videos. And I just want you guys to know that, first of all, I'm really proud of you for talking about it. I know that there are some of you out there who do it for attention, because I know how to recognize that. I've been there. I was there for years, and I know what that looks like, and I know a lot of you do that. But that doesn't mean that your self-harm or whatever pain you're going through mentally doesn't matter. If anything, it might be a little bit worse for you. Who knows? I don't know. I mean, I shouldn't compare, but you know what I mean. So just know that, like, that it's okay. It's not okay, but I'm saying I'm not gonna like ignore you or think that you don't deserve help just because you're doing it for attention. Because I know what that's like, and if you're doing it for attention, chances are not only are you hurting mentally, but you don't have anybody in your life to help you at that moment. And so that's just really sad, and I'm sorry for that. And then for those of you that don't do it for attention, just simply have gotten past that point and you do it just for the pain of it and just to escape your mental and emotional pain. To both of you, to both types of self-harmers out there, I want you to know that you're not alone, clearly. There are thousands of people around the world that I've met so far, I'm sure there are millions, who struggle with this or who have struggled with this. You're absolutely not alone. Please talk to people in my comment sections. You can make, so many people on here have made lifelong friendships that started in the comment sections of my videos and then led to live streams and then led to Instagram and then all kinds of things. And these people now are they're like sisters and brothers to each other, and they help each other now. Instead of trying to find inspiration for doing it, instead of trying to look for self-harm videos in hopes that you're gonna find tips, because we've all been there too, they're finding that there's actually a lot of people out there who are struggling, but that are brave enough to come out and talk about it in the comment sections, and then they connect with them and they message them and they become friends and they help each other instead of encouraging each other to keep going. That's what makes me so proud about our community, that I'm seeing so many people connect in a positive way and in a helpful way, and to say, hey, I need help. Is anybody out there willing to help me? I'm willing, because I need help too. How about we get help together? How about we help each other? How about we be each other's sponsors and call each other whenever we're feeling tempted? Like, that is so freaking cool. You guys are so freaking cool. I am so proud of you. I don't think that's something that I would have done when I was your age, when I was younger. So I'm just proud of you. That shows so much growth and maturity already. And that shows me that you are willing to try, and that you do have that desire in you to get better. I think we all have that desire, but a lot of us just keep burying it, and some of us bury it so far that it just gets to the point where we're done and we end our lives, and that's terrible. And that's the last thing I want for you or for me or for anybody. So just know that I love you and that you're not alone, and that I'm proud of you for whether you clicked on this video hoping to find maybe tips or, I don't know, validation that you should keep on doing it, or if you click on this video for help. Either way, you're here. I get why you're doing it. But just know that I can tell you right now, almost a year clean from doing this, that it is such an amazing feeling to know that I have not cut myself, I haven't hit myself, I haven't burned myself, I haven't been picking myself, I haven't done any of those things in almost a year. And so it kind of pumps me up, because not only have I overcome 19 years of self-harm, but that kind of pumps me up even more and has made my recovery for my eating disorder a little bit easier, because I'm like, wait, if I can get over 19 years of cutting myself, then I can tackle this 29-year eating disorder battle. It might take me longer, but I could do it. Did it with self-harm, why can't I do it with eating disorder? Did it with self-harm, why can't I do it with hearing voices? Why can't I do it with attempting suicide and being suicidal? Why can't I take that strength? Like, you're gonna see how strong you are. That's what it will do. That's why it's important, because you're gonna get to where I am and you're gonna be like, holy crap, how did I stop doing that? I'm a freaking rock star. That's so cool. I know change isn't gonna happen overnight. I get it, trust me. But try, okay? Just try a little bit every day. Try doing it a little bit less every day and see how that goes for you. And just after a while, it's gonna be hard at first to break the habit, and it's gonna be hard to keep the new habit. But once you do, you're gonna be like, oh, I'm so glad that I'm out of that, and I'm so glad that I never am going to do it again because of how hard it was to get out of it. But because I work so hard, look how freaking strong I am. I'm such a princess warrior princess person who could like conquer the world and do all the things. And by the way, I still have temptations all the time. You always will. So we just need to accept that and move on. How about that? All right, I think that's all I have to say. This was a long video, but I just wanted to have an open conversation. So leave some questions below again, and I will do a self-harm Q&A. You can ask me personal questions about my story, or you can ask my opinions on things. But as far as like professional opinions and stuff, all I can do is experience. So if I feel like I can't answer it, I will, and if not, then maybe I'll research it and tell you the answer in the Q&A. So leave those questions below. It'll probably be a couple weeks before I do that Q&A, but I will be going back to the comment section of this video to get those questions for whenever I do film that video. So, all right guys, that's it for today. I will see you the day after tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. You are so loved, you're so appreciated. Thank you for supporting me through all of the different journeys, the really hard journeys that I'm going through. This is one that I'm so proud to be over. Are you hearing that? Why am I wheezing? Weird, ew, creepy. Anyway, thank you for your love and support. I love you guys so much. I'll see you the day after tomorrow, and I love you, and remember forever and always that you are beautiful, you are worth it, and I am too. Thank you for watching, bye!